This is Boomer Life on CL 650.
That was for Dr. Robert. I have Dr. Paul in studio with me today. Welcome back to Boomer Life here on CL 650. Dr. Paul is Dr. Paul Zickler from YesWellness.com. Dr. Zickler has written extensively on colds and flu, and as we are, well, right on the cusp of the season, we're going to talk about flu shots in a few minutes. But right now, you've sort of led us through what we, each and every one of us, should be doing on a daily maintenance basis in terms of supplements, a little vitamin C, vitamin D, some fish oils. We should all be taking that as a routine daily thing. But now, as you alluded to moments ago, Dr. Paul, you get to that point in this time of the year, and all of a sudden, maybe you've been on a plane recently, or maybe one of the kids has brought a little surprise home from school, but you feel the cold. You've had it before. You know what is happening. Well, now this is where Don Cherry kicks in. Remember a few years ago he was flogging that cold FX stuff on TV? Yes. And the whole thing was all about, as soon as you feel it starting, just hyperdose this stuff. Just take massive quantities of this stuff. Is that still, at least, I don't know about the product itself, but is the massive quantities idea still an effective approach?
Well, with the quantity, yes, increased quantities of the things that we're going to discuss.
Okay.
Which is going to be infinitely cheaper than Cold FX.
All right.
Cold FX depends. This primary active ingredient is a ginseng product with a little herbal proprietary mixture.
Okay.
And what I'm going to suggest is equally effective at a fraction of the cost of what you get that from. So besides, doing all the things we talked about just before the break, and in addition to making sure you're getting good quality sleep and trying to reduce your stress that you're under every day.
Because stress will reduce your immune capacity, won't it?
Exactly. So if you don't get the right amount of sleep and you're dealing with a lot of stress, you're going to get it. So let's go back to those first symptoms. This is where it's important to really get to know your body in terms of what is your first sign of a cold. And generally speaking, it's something upper respiratory. You don't generally start coughing phlegm.
No, it's sinuses usually, isn't it? Your nose starts to drip, your eyes get watery.
Or you have a little sore throat, or you have that little tickle in your throat. It's to recognize that okay, I have been infected with a virus.
Right.
And that's the point to really start the program I'm going to suggest.
Okay.
So the first thing is, that virus is in your nose and your throat. It's in your upper respiratory tract. And it takes 2 or 3 days for that virus, depending on the virus, to migrate to your sinuses or to your chest or at your bronchial tubes.
Okay.
So while it's there, we want to do the very best we can to eradicate it while it's there, before it's really established in all these other sites.
And I should tell you, friends, that while Dr. Paul is saying while it's there, he's actually pointing at his nose and his mouth, that part, with the part of our body that we breathe from. So when we first get that tickle, that tingle, that
soreness,
here it comes,
that soreness,
it's still right in the front part of our body, right where we breathe.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And so that's where we want to start doing several things. One is to gargle. So taking an 8-ounce glass of water with a 1/4 level teaspoon of salt. So the liquid is a little bit salty, not tons of salt.
Right.
More salt is actually deleterious. It is harmful.
And does the temperature of the water make a difference?
Well, it feels better when it's a little warmer.
A little warm, and a teaspoon of salt.
No, 1/4 level teaspoon.
Oh, a quarter teaspoon.
Level teaspoon of salt.
Oh, okay.
And you put your finger in, it tastes a little bit salty,
all right.
Not horribly salty.
Okay.
So then you gargle that 3 times a day.
Okay.
Similarly, because that virus is in your upper respiratory nose, getting something like Simply Saline. It's a saltwater nasal spray. And there are some really neat applicators now where there's a bottle with a larger spray nozzle where you can get a larger amount in at a time, where you're not only irrigating your nose, but you're irrigating your sinuses as well.
Okay.
So just the same way that we want to clean out that virus from our throat by gargling, we can do the same with our nose with the nasal spray or the nasal irrigation, which would be better. And once you try it, you get the hang of it. At first, the larger nozzle, you seem like you're drowning.
Yeah,
All of a sudden,
right.
this thing,
You're
water
overwhelmed.
gushes
A
in your...
wave comes into your towards your
That's
brain.
right, but you'll get the hang of it, and
Sure.
as you sniff it up, and you'll feel it, down the back of your throat.
Right.
And do that 3 times a day.
Okay, can I interrupt just for a quick second? Because a lot of moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas listening, and you're a grandpa too, you spend a lot of time with the kids. It may not be possible to get, say, a 5-year-old to gargle, but it would be certainly possible to do that nasal flush thing,
Yes,
wouldn't
and
it?
it does require some quiet instruction.
Okay.
With your toddler and child, and once you show them that you're doing it, and start very easily with a very mild spray, and get them used to it, and do that more regularly, they get used to it.
But leading by example is a key,
absolutely.
isn't it? Well, look, see, I'm doing it. Now it's your turn.
And gargling is a different matter.
Sure,
Won't, but even cleaning out their nose and letting that salt water irrigate the back of their throat really helps them. And it really helps them if they've already gotten to the point where they've got a lot of gucky stuff in their nose and they can't breathe through their nose.
Right.
Their mouth breathing, it keeps them awake. It gives them more of a sore throat.
So nasal irrigation's a big deal.
Nasal irrigation really helps. And then gently aspirating all the gucky stuff out of their nose, because they don't have that sense of blowing their nose.
Right, okay.
Now, blowing your nose is another thing I just want to address while you're irrigating the nose. When you blow your nose, you always see people blocking one nose and really blowing hard
big
to get
old
that.
honk you can hear across the street, for crying out loud.
You don't want to do that, because what in fact it does is push the mucus into your sinuses.
Too violent a motion.
Exactly.
There, eh?
So you want to blow with both nostrils open and blow evenly. And blow it out.
Even if
way.
Only one side feels blocked?
Yes, you want to blow it that way.
Okay.
All right? So that's really important. So we're already starting great guns by irrigating that virus out of our system.
Okay.
So the next thing is eradicating that virus is starting on your zinc lozenges. And this is this therapy plan. So zinc lozenges is number 1. The 15 milligram zinc lozenges, and generally 15 milligrams is in the zinc lozenge that you can buy over the counter. And you take 2 of those 3 times a day.
Okay.
So I tried.
Are they like Buckley's? Are they dreadful tasting,
No,
or are they somewhat civilized now?
Okay. Cherry, lemon, raspberry, whatever.
It makes it a little easier to live with.
Honey-coated ones.
Okay.
And honey is a good idea too, because it helps to ease your sore throat.
Sure.
But it's a relatively high dose. But you have to remember that we're only taking this. This is a 3-day plan.
Okay.
And it's
so from the time you feel the symptoms coming on, here's my 3-day approach.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And it's 3 times a day. You gargle, you irrigate, and you take the lozenge 3 times a day.
So that should be kind of a package that you do together.
Exactly.
Okay.
The vitamin C is 3 times a day. And
so that you take your daily maintenance 3 times instead of once.
Well, we're going to actually increase the dosage.
Okay.
So remember, you asked me the question. This is your maintenance dose. This is a therapeutic dose. We want to jumpstart your immune system and all the helper cells, the T cells, and really fortify your immune system.
So this goes back to the validity of some of the content of those TV commercials back in the day. Massive quantities does actually means it makes a difference.
Exactly.
Okay.
And especially with vitamin C and vitamin D. So you do that. You up your dose to 2,000 milligrams 3 times a day.
Okay.
And with that dosage, I mean, there are no side effects other than that. If you notice a little bit more loose bowel movements, you can attribute that to the vitamin C. But it's not going to be a problem that you're going to stop taking the vitamin C.
Okay.
The next is...
It's only 3 days, right?
Yeah. The next is the vitamin D.
D, okay.
And this is where, when I tell you the dosage, you're going to say, wow, that's a lot. So
fortunately, I am sitting down already.
So you're going to remember we're talking about
3 to 6,000 international
that's
units?
Right.
Right.
We're going to go to 20,000.
Okay.
3 times a day. 3 times a day. So we're staying in the regime. Everything we're talking about is 3 times a day.
Okay.
So you do everything 3 times a day. So to minimize you missing.
Okay.
So 3 times a day.
So I'm assuming then that the fish oils, which were part of the, no, that was
Yeah.
the third
The
part.
fish oils we don't need to increase because
really? Okay.
they haven't shown really to give more than the maintenance dose to be effective in making any difference in terms of prevention. So those are the 3 items, the items: the zinc, vitamin C, the vitamin D. And for ease of taking the vitamin D, that's where I really like the drops.
Okay.
In Canada, they have decided that higher doses aren't necessary for maintenance doses. So they've stopped producing the 5,000 international units and the 10,000 international units, and only have the 1,000.
So you got to take a fistful of pills when you
gotta
got the cold
and they're
coming
honking
on.
big pills.
Sure, sure.
And so you have to take 20 of them. And
So you go-
know, that's a very, when I first tried that, I thought, this isn't going to work. People to take this 3 times a day? No.
Right. That's 60 pills.
Yeah, and it's a chore.
Yeah.
Sitting to take 20 of those pills. And oftentimes, if you took them all, you got a little bit of heartburn.
Sure.
So
The way around that is drops.
drops. You take a dropper full. They're this big. You put that in your mouth, you hardly even notice. It's less than half a teaspoon. And you take that. And so it's really easy. And even if your maintenance dose is 1 little drop a day.
Okay.
Or 3 to 6 of those drops every day, because 1 drop is 1,000.
Right.
So it's really much easier. And your
Vitamin D drops.
drops.
Okay.
And if you got the pills, they're going to work. But as I say, it's a chore, and we want to make everything easy and convenient so that you're going to do it. You got to do this to have it work.
And that's why I think, and you were talking about how expensive that other product that Don Cherry used to sell, that's why it was so successful, Dr. Paul, because it was easy to do. All you had to do was go out and buy, 12 packages of this stuff and take the maximum dose as often as you could and power it away. It was convenient. And, we're awfully busy. And, even to the point where taking 20 pills at a time is a little daunting.
Yes.
So that's why the product was so successful, though, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. And the fact it was, celebrity supported as well.
I suppose that
with
didn't hurt
people
now,
that
did
can
it?
afford it.
Yeah, that's true.
So this is a fraction of the cost.
Right.
A fraction of the cost. And it really works. And there are children's doses, too, that will be available on our website, too. So you can start on children and infants, too, but much lower doses than what I've just said. And really, you should be having your kids taking vitamin C and vitamin D in their daily maintenance dosage for kids as well, especially kids, because kids are being bombarded with viruses from day 1 of school starting.
Oh, yeah.
And that means us seniors, grandparents, are bombarded by it as well. So it's really important to get everyone in the family on base with this. And as I say, the kids' products are going to be a little bit more expensive because they're more proprietary. But if you get the drops, you can use the drops. They're really cheaper, and both the vitamin C and the vitamin D you can get relatively inexpensively, so it's not a big chore on the pocketbook. And if you can avoid one more cold that you don't have to stay home from work
Right.
to look after your child,
Sure.
you've more than paid for what you're going to cost for that maintenance dose.
Okay, now this program, these increased doses of vitamin C, vitamin D, combined with the zinc lozenges, this whole 3 times a day, is there anything else that goes into this basic, here come the symptoms, I have a remedy this time, I'm ready for you? What are there any other compounds involved, or do you just also throw in as much extra rest as you can get?
Yeah, well, rest is really important, and because a lot of the healing takes part while we're sleeping,
Right.
and reducing your stress. and drinking enough fluids. So with that irrigation and all that stuff, you're drinking at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, really trying to flush all the toxins out of your body. So that's really important. There are a lot of other herbal products, which I'm sure we'll discuss a little bit later on.
Echinacea comes to mind almost immediately.
Echinacea and a lot of the lozenges, zinc lozenges, already have the vitamin C or a portion of the vitamin C. So if you're buying products that already have other products that have vitamin C, make sure that you're staying within the limits that I've just told you.
Sure.
And add them up, because some of the lozenges that have zinc, they already have echinacea. They have vitamin C. Echinacea by itself has shown to be some benefit, but working together with this is really important.
It's more effective as part of a greater solution.
And certainly if you want to add this to my 3 compound set of products, certainly there's no harm in doing it.
Right.
And there are other ones that we'll mention as well, which are healthy in terms of promoting your immune system and reducing viral replication or viral growth in your body.
Okay, we'll talk more about boosting the immune system, and we'll talk about flu shots, too. Our guest from YesWellness.com is Dr. Paul Zicler. And by the way, lots more information. Dr. Paul has alluded to it many times already. We'll remind you again as we go on through the program. Lots more information about colds and flu and the common sense approaches to dealing with them available right now at YesWellness.com /BoomerLife. I believe we have even a little corner for our own listeners on YesWellness.com.
That's right.
That's very kind of you to do. And we're back with lots more here on Boomer Life right after this.
Canada's only weekly radio show dedicated to the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CIL 650.